Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me here again. And it is as I feared. The Stormers is out of the race to the finals for the URC Championships. Luckily though, there is a South African team that did make it through as the Bulls just nail-bitingly managed to scrape through against the Glasgow Warriors at Murrayfield last weekend. Not exactly what I was looking for, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the Bulls fans are extremely happy. And hopefully, this time around, they will be able to actually just clinch the finals, as they've tried to do now 2 years in a row and was, constantly just robbed just before they managed to actually do it. I think last year they were robbed of the URC final in the semis as they were beaten, I think, by Leinster. And then the year before that, they got into the finals and then lost to Glasgow Warriors, I'm afraid. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed and hold thumbs for the Bulls that they're actually making it through this year and finally clinch that URC title that they've been dreaming about. And then, of course, Rassie Erasmus announcing his 51-man squad for taking on the Barbarians on the 20th of June this year. This is just after the Bulls has played Leinster at the Cork Park, I think it's called, in Dublin. So, yeah, it's quite a weekend for rugby. 19th URC Finals and 20th the Springboks. So it is, something really to look forward to. But without any further ado, let's stop yapping and talk rugby. Well, I have to say that after a disappointing loss over Leinster, the Stormers has made a remarkable improvement of their game. Unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. I suppose Leinster just wanted it more. Obviously, the absence of key players such as Kobus Reinach, Dion Fourie, Sashafama Komazulu, and several others that still down with injury is probably missed quite a bit. And although there was a remarkable overall improvement in their game, ball handling was slightly better. Their set plays was really well and dominant. Unfortunately, still the unforced errors that kept plaguing the Stormers and a little bit of the discipline as well. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that was probably the major key features that did kind of cost the Stormers quite a bit in this game. Although, yeah, there is a few things that I do want to sort of elaborate on that I didn't agree with, especially, Holly Davidson did call the match on average. There is kind of a few decisions that she made that I didn't quite agree with. For instance, the scrum penalties. Given some scrum penalties right at the beginning in the first half given to Leinster. Didn't quite agree with that because you could clearly see that it was Leinster's players losing the grip, elbow touching the ground first, knee going to the ground before Needling Forshire and Kunu were still pretty much on their feet in the front row. So it is, I'm not quite sure how she got to the conclusion, but there's nothing I can do about it. Calls has been made, game's finished. That is the outcome. Would we have seen a bit of a different outcome had she performed a little bit better? You do accept and understand that, a referee is not a perfect human being. They can make mistakes. They can make missed calls or, wrongful calls from time to time. And there was just a few of those sort of set plays and penalties that was awarded that shouldn't really have been penalties against the Stormers. But I have to admit, the red card, 20-minute red card against Ruan Ackerman, completely justified. I see that quite a few people on the internet still misunderstands what it means to have a 20-minute red card, thinking that after 20 minutes the same person comes back on. No, he doesn't. Okay, when Ruan Ackerman's yellow card was upgraded to a 20-minute red, he goes off. The game's done for him. He doesn't come back on. It is another player that he is replaced with after 20 minutes, basically. Yeah, that was a completely justified call. I mean, what he was thinking, I don't know. But leading with the shoulder in a ruck clearing was just completely irresponsible, really ill-disciplined. I don't know what he was thinking, honestly. You get trained in this. This is what gets pumped into you. Whenever you make a tackle, you wrap the arms. When you go for clearance on the ruck, you arms first. You basically push with your forearms. You don't go in leading with a shoulder at all. Not in a tackle and not in a clearance on a ruck. So completely agree with that. The two things that I do not agree with: the Salman Murat yellow card and the Leland Zas yellow card. I don't know how she got to the conclusion, but again, I think it's basically because she was being led by the TMO, and this shouldn't be happening. Okay, a ref should at least have confidence enough in their own abilities to call the game, rather than being led by opinions of others. Even the players can raise opinions. They can ask the referee to have a look at certain things. And I think it was Andre Hufenter that did speak to Holly Davidson about Leinster pulling the hit in the scrums. She took note of it. She did look at it, and immediately following the next scrum, penalty was given to the Stormers. Because she obviously is like, she sees, okay, yeah, no, Leinster is pulling their hits a bit. They're not actually leaning into the hit, which causes problems. It collapses scrums. So yeah, after she paid attention to it, she saw it happening, she rightfully called the penalties. But leading up to that, it was constantly the Stormers being penalized for what I feel was scrum collapses that wasn't their fault. And just to kind of put that out there, make that clear, I don't know what your opinion is. You can leave me your opinion in the comments field below. Leland Zas, let me cover the Salman Murat yellow card first. I mean, he's down on the ground. The ruck is being formed. He's attempting to obviously get out of it because he's, as per rugby rules, the tackler has to roll away. He's got to make himself scarce out of the ruck. The binding happens over him. He's trying to get up, and obviously the ball is recycled back to Leinster. But now there's a Leinster player right in front of Salman Murat, restricting him from actually getting up. So he attempts to get up. You have to make the attempt at least to get out of the ruck, to get out of the, to roll away from the tackle. Otherwise, you're getting penalized. And in his attempt to kind of get up, he's pushed back down. So in a way, he tries to stabilize his balance. His feet goes up. He's not even looking at the ball at this point. He doesn't even know where the ball is. His head is turned to the side. Gibson Park basically picks up the ball. He tries to pass the ball out, recycling it back to his back line, and he takes his eyes off the ball. In the pass, it hits Salman Murat's shoes, who at this point is up in the air trying to stabilize himself, trying to get a grip on his balance. And immediately he gets a yellow card for deliberately sabotaging play. Now, I don't agree with that, because number one, Salman Murat didn't have any idea where the ball was. He wasn't even looking in the general direction of Gibson Park or the ball. Number two, I would have to basically put that down to a handling error by Gibson Park. Let play continue. If Leinster managed to actually save the ball or rescue the ball back into their possession, then fair play to them. The ball is coming out on their side. So to now punish Salman Murat with a yellow card for that, I don't feel that was justified at all. But yeah, again, it happened. Nothing we can do about it. Leland Zas, the yellow card on him, I do not believe was justified. as he was trying to attempt to intercept the ball in the pass between the two Leinster players, he spots a Leinster defender or attacker. I don't know what you want to call him at that point. As he's reaching with both hands out for the ball, and he probably would have gotten it. I mean, he was close enough to realistically retrieve the ball within that interception. So he spots this Leinster player basically charging down on him. He bails out of the interception attempt to put his hand out towards the Leinster player in an attempt to kind of brace himself for impact. His left hand, unfortunately, does knock the ball on. So in that case, my judgment would be knock on, Leinster scrum from that position. Yellow card for deliberate knockdown, don't think was justified. There was not deliberate at all. He had reasonable opportunity to actually intercept the ball. Didn't make it, knocked the ball on. That's nobody's fault by him, but his own. It is understandable because he did put his hand out. He tried to brace himself, like pull out of the interception to brace himself for impact. But unfortunately in the attempt, couldn't get his left hand back quick enough. Ball knocked on. So that I would have said knock on Leinster ball. But unfortunately, yeah, didn't happen. Got himself a yellow card and went off for 10 minutes. Now, unfortunately, that did kind of count against the Stormers, but they did pull themselves towards themselves quite a bit. Even scored a try within that moment, which was basically just absolutely brilliant play. I mean, it was just such brilliant performance. Yuri Mattia only managed to get 2 penalty goals for the team, so his kicking accuracy was also not what it should be. I would rate it about at 40% kick success. He's had several attempts. After the try by Smith, missed the conversion, did get a penalty goal after that. And then, of course, yeah, that was basically it. That was the only point scored for the Stormers, unfortunately. But yeah, it is the Stormers managed to gather themselves pretty much, even with two men down at a certain stage, between Ackerman's red card and Salman Murat's yellow card. They did manage to sort of pull themselves toward themselves, solidify their defenses quite a bit. So it only converted back actually to 2 tries for Leinster, one by Gibson Clark himself, and then one by Leone, right sort of the beginning in the first 5 minutes of the game. But that was basically the only point scored. It was a tight game, always up to, I think, to the point where Salman Murat had to go off with a yellow card. There was always a chance, for the Stormers to come straight back into the game. In half-time, it was about 13-8 for the half-time score. And that basically translated into a 2011 loss for the Stormers at full-time. But they fought hard right up to the end. Didn't let go, always tried to sort of insert themselves, trying to wrestle dominance back from the Leinster team. Even with Imad Khan, a beautiful line break where he just gets sort of beeline for the try line. Nobody in front of him. The only problem is that he is a scrum half. He's not a speedster. He's not like a Leland Zas, Chislin Colby, or a Suleiman Hutzenberg, or even Sasha Pamakumazulu. But he's, he gave it all his effort. He played a smashing game, made a lot of effort in the first half and this, sort of most of the second half for the Stormers until David Ungra basically took over. But that line break was absolutely fantastic. Caught Leinster completely off guard. Probably would have gone through with the try if there was enough support for him. And that was the big problem there. He broke through, took a, I don't know what you call it, freight or attempted freight train course straight for the try line, but nobody there to basically offload to. And Leinster's winger basically just, was gaining on him at one heck of a speed. So, even with the point where Imad Khan just, realized he was not going to win the foot race, there was still nobody there to support him, take the ball from him, or for him to offload too. And if there were enough support there, that probably would have translated into a try, but unfortunately not to be. So it was definitely a bit of a disappointment there. The discipline lacking a few times in the game. And then, of course, the calls that I didn't quite agree with, but I have to make this clear. I don't think that those call errors by Holly Davidson would have made any blind bit of a difference to the end result. It might have, they might have lost and with a bit more of a smaller margin, but it still would have been a loss. I don't think the Stormers would have been able to actually grab this one from Leinster, not like the Bulls did from Glasgow Warriors though. Much better game right off the bat. I mean, the Bulls just showed absolute dominance right from the first kickoff. It was just amazing to watch. These guys wasn't phased by ill discipline at all, although there was quite a few unforced errors, a bit of ill discipline, especially within the first half that they had to deal with. Pollard going off with a yellow card in, I think, the 8th minute of the game after scoring a penalty goal. I think it was about 2 minutes or so just after he scored the penalty goal. He goes off with a yellow card, I think, for a deliberate knockdown. And then Ruan Norkia as well, going off after committing too many penalties, or a deliberate penalty, collapsing, I think, the maul within the 22. And of course, the referee, I think it was Andrew Brace, felt that infraction was deliberately preventing a try, so awarded the penalty goal, the penalty try to Glasgow Warriors, with Ruan Norkia going off with a yellow card for 10 minutes there. But soon after that, the Bulls just solidified the game. Pollard then scored another try after that, converted by Pollard, going into half-time at a score of 21-10, Bulls trailing behind the Glasgow Warriors. But in the second half, it's like they came back with a vengeance. It's like Ackerman just had quite a bit of a talk with these boys in the cloakroom, probably like John Dobson should have had with the Stormers in the cloakroom. But they just came back, and from the word go, I mean, Cummings got a yellow card in the 43rd minute, runabout there, sort of right at the beginning of the second half. And from there, it was Papier scoring a try, Klopper scoring a try, converted by Andre Pollard, and that just sealed the deal right at the end for a 22-21 win over Glasgow Warriors. So definitely much better performance in the second half after a shaky start. Defense definitely much tougher and much tighter in the second half, not allowing a single line break by the Glasgow Warriors in that time. And I think that is basically what sealed the deal. They came back so strong. They managed to actually, tighten their defenses, form the line every single time. It was nail biting at times as they were fighting the Warriors off on their try line a few times. But they were very much dominant in set plays. They kept the pressure on from the first whistle to the last goal conversion by Andre Pollard. And that just absolutely showed the heart, the spirit, and the toughness of the Bulls. And I think they probably, if they can carry this through to the final game against Leinster, I think at Croke Park within Dublin on the 19th of June, mark that date on your calendar, then they will definitely see the URC Championships Cup this time around. So it's definitely, if they can carry this through, so absolutely, I hope they just keep that focus and they motor through with that, because that was a beautiful game. I'll try and link it for you guys in the comments or the description below. But let me know what you guys think of their performance. Shaky start, but that translated into a much better play in the second half. And if they carry on like that, do you think they will actually be able to pull one over on Leinster and finally raise that URC Cup right at the end as they've been chasing now for literally 2 years, and they came very close. Semi-finals in, I think it was last year. The year before that, they got to the finals and lost out to the Glasgow Warriors that time around. So very much hopeful for that. And I'm feeling confident that they could actually make it through to this finals, and just chasing the dream. That's what it's all about, especially for the Bulls. They've been trying now for how many years? And I think this time around they're getting so close they can taste it. But not just that. On further news, quite exciting at this point, Rassie Erasmus has now finally announced his 51 squad for the opening games, starting on the 20th of June, literally the day after the URC Finals. We are facing the Barbarians, Springboks that is, facing the Barbarians in Gqeberha, in the Eastern Cape, and this is going to be a doozy. He's named his 51-man squad, of which I think about 21 players are previously uncapped. So that is pretty exciting. Some new blood coming into the Springboks, to replace a lot of the injuries that are still being, still out of the race. RG Snyman, unfortunately, still not there. And not just him, quite a few of the others as well. Marvin Ori, that's still down with a neck injury. Ethan Hooker, that's still having a problem with his shoulder. He still has to go and see a specialist. Marvin Ori is going to be seeing the doctor now, I think around about next month. He's going to go back for another assessment and sees how they're going to go forward from that. But I think the neck surgery is pretty much still on the cards for him, wishing him all the best of luck, holding thumbs that he pulls through, and probably we'll see him back in the green and gold hopefully pretty soon. Although, I don't think he's going to make it for the selection for the 2027 World Cup, which is sad, because I'm pretty sure he would have loved to, get another World Cup, sort of below the belt, if the Springboks can manage to win it. I think they do have a really good chance, especially if you look at the squad. If they've been picked, that's been picked, the forwards in itself, Louis de Jager being back off injury, really, really happy to see him back as well. Paul de Villiers from the DHL Stormers, Ben Jason Dixon from the same team, Peter Steve de Toy, de Jode Viblitz, making his debut. He's probably going to be, in one of the flanker positions, as we've been seeing, even it's a bit from the Hollywood Bet Sharks coming back. And he's probably, after, I think this URC season, he's going to rejoin the Stormers. Siya Kolisi, unfortunately, still locked into his contract. We'll only be seeing him back into the Stormers after the 2027 World Cup, when his contract with the Sharks ends. JJ Kotsa, seeing him again in the green and gold there. Donnie Creer from the Stormers, he's one of the previous uncapped players. Siya Kolisi, very happy to see him back there. Vincent Koch, just the usual veterans. And it's always, like I've always said, it's very important to have these veterans, especially when you're bringing in a lot of new young blood in, and really great talent. Because you look at some of these names, Mahashe, Zibabalwa, Mahashe, we've got Tutuku Mkunu coming in, and Debele, Salman Murat is back in there, Franco Mostert. Salman Murat will probably be acting as, opening on the bench, acting as a replacement for one of the locks. But although, in the absence of RG Snyman, probably be, replacement for either Franco Mostert or Louis de Jager that will be slotting in next to Ibn Etzebet there. Oxenche, the old stalwart, probably one of the best scrummaging props that we've got in South Africa. Riley Norton, he's making his debut in the Springbok jersey. Zachary Porthen, he's already got quite a few caps under his belt, but a really promising talent there. Oliver Reed making his debut. Ivan Roos is back with the Springbok squad again. Emmanuel Tituka, Vincent Tituka, the two brothers from the Hollywood Bet Shark, welcoming them back in the green and gold jerseys. Liam van Wyk making a debut for himself as well. Sorry, it's something feeling like it's in my eye. I don't know if it is, but yeah. Andre Venter, him being invited back to the Springboks pretty, happy to see him there. Juan Venter and Jasper Vissa coming back in as well. Definitely, being hopeful to seeing these guys in the opening match against the Barbarians. Joaquim Ahmed, he's a newcomer from the Stormers side within the back line. Ilocanyo Damien Dalende, Faf de Klerk, Andre Estreisen, Apelele Fassi. These sort of real stalwarts that's always been with the Springboks. I'm really happy to see these guys back. There's some really awesome talent going in there. Luan Gilomir, the newcomer, it's already, I think, got like 1 or 2 caps under the belt, but also fairly new within the Springboks. Then finally, I've been wanting, sort of wondering when this is going to happen, but Kewan Horn is back with the Springboks. I think he only sort of featured in also sort of 1 or 2 games for Springboks in the past, but really happy to see him back. Imad Khan, coming in as the one of the scrum offs there again, and I'm really happy to see him back in there. Lorenzo Julius from the Sharks, Cheslin Colby from the Toyota Tokyo Sun Goliaths, coming back from Japan, and it's really happy to have him back. And I'm sort of like I said last week in the last video, he's going to be making his way back into the Stormers team pretty soon. Then we've got Manu Lebok also back from Japan again. Jesse Kriel, Vusi Moyo over from the under-20s. I think he's only have a few caps for the Bulls in recent years for the he's had kind of a few opportunities within the URC that he played, but he's making his debut within the green and gold, the senior team, not the under-20s junior Bokke. Marcus Muller coming from the DHL Stormers, he's making his debut. Hashim Peed, really strong contender there. Also from the junior box, played for the Lions and in the URC this season. Siyaya coming in from the Hollywood Bet Sharks. Nico Steyn from the Lions. Edward van der Merwe, really good player there. Damien Willemse, Grant Williams, and then Jaco Williams from the Hollywood Bet Sharks coming in the back line there as well. So I will kind of run through just before the game on the 20th exactly who would be, how can I put it, sort of be covering the Springboks A team, because we're going to have a sort of a double header on the same day on the 20th of June. The Springboks will be facing the Barbarians in Gqeberha, and the Springbok A team will be facing Zimbabwe. So I'll be covering sort of the lineup for those games and who I think will probably be featuring better in which position for the main team and the Springbok A team. So yeah, that is something to look forward to. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I'm always happy to sort of have you guys, just talk rugby. It's just, even if I talk a whole lot of shit, but no, really, I try not to. But leave me your comments in the comments field below. If you feel that you got some ideas, if you want to talk about some of the referees' performances, what did you agree with, what did you do, what didn't you agree with? If there's anything that I said that you didn't agree with, please let me know in your comments field below. I'm always happy to hear your thoughts. And also, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's a very cold Cape Town here. Winter is truly upon us. And so I'll bid you all adieu and wish you all the best for this coming week. There is no URC this weekend, so take care of yourselves and your loved ones. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video as per usual. Peace out.
Deep into the Glasgow 22, LaRue with the big pass out to Hannacum, who goes infield, searching for the line, goes Hannacum, he's just short. And surely the try will be scored, it's just short for Coetzee. Desperation from Glasgow, but they can't hold them up any longer.